Hi guys, welcome to part 6 of the Unity Arkanoid tutorial. It's quite an exciting tutorial today. We're going to look at the singleton pattern, and we're looking at adding player lives and a score. So I'll be getting more of a game going on in this lecture. So to store all this, we need something called a game session. So we'll create an empty object and call it game session. There's a tag game controller we can use. We're not actually going to use it, but it's worth knowing it's there, and we've tagged it. This is the game controller. Oh, it's lost my name now. Game session, I'm going to call it. Okay, and we'll add component to that. And we'll add component game session. And that's a new script called game session. Create and add. And we'll drag that into the scripts folder. While we're here, we'll drag it into prefabs as well. Brilliant. So our game session object is set up. We've got it in our prefabs. Now let's look at the singleton pattern. So we'll go back to our scripts and open game session. We'll do all this on awake. Give it a second to catch up with me. No, it's not liking that. Oh, there we go. It's caught up. Awake. Private void awake. So remember, this is called before start. So what we want to do in awake, we want to get an instance count. That's an int. And that equals get find objects of type game session. It's a bit confusing here because the object is called game session and this script is called game session. So that's looking for objects that have the game session script on it. Dot. Is that dot count or dot? I thought it was dot length. Doesn't seem to. It's because I've got objects, not objects. Okay, instance count is find objects of type game session. So that will give us an array. So now we have a list. If instance count is greater than 0, destroy game object. Else don't destroy on load game object. So let's have a look what we're doing there. We're getting a count of how many game sessions we have in a scene. If there's more than 1, or if there's more than 0. No, wait a minute, that's wrong. There's more than 0. If there's more than 1, because we want 1 of them, we don't want 0 of them. If there's more than 1, we destroy the game object. So there will only ever be 1 in a scene. Else, we don't destroy on load game object, and this allows our game session to persist over multiple scenes, which will be really useful when we add multiple scenes and multiple levels to our game, and we want to keep track of the score and things like that. There are lots of ways to set up a singleton in Unity. If you do a quick search on the internet, you'll find hundreds of different implementations. This is just, I think, the simplest one I've seen. So there it is. Let's save that up. Go back into the Unity editor. It's worth noticing that game session is on the root object of the game scene, so we can call don't destroy unload. If we parented this to paddle, then we wouldn't be able to call don't destroy unload. Let's play our game. And now we've got a new object that says don't destroy unload, and we can see our game session is in that object, and that will persist across scenes. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now we need to wire it up. So we'll go back into the game session mono behavior, and at the top we want a text. We want a serialized field. I forgot my square braces. Serialized field text, and we're going to call this. We need a using statement. We need using Unity engine.ui. Let's call this lives text. You can see that text has turned to green now. It's recognized we've got the Unity engine UI namespace in. Cool. Let's just copy that. You might as well copy it 3 times. So lives text, score text, and high score text. Then we need some ints. So int, let's call that current lives. While we've got that, we need another serialized field, and this is of int, and this is start lives. In current lives, int current score, int current high score. Doesn't really need to be called current high score. I think current lives and current score are okay. We'll call it current high score. Why not? That works for me. So private void awake, that's our singleton. And in the start method, we want current lives. Equals start lives. Why didn't it recognize current lives? Invalid token equals. Method must have a return type. What am I missing? Invalid token. Invalid token. Method must have a return type. Text, int. Let's give this an equals 5. I don't know what the problem is here, so I'm just going to save and quit and load again. And the problem with that was apparently nothing. Okay, I think this happened in one of the previous videos where Visual Studio Code just decides it doesn't like me and causes me a few problems. But switch it off and switch it on again, and all is forgiven. What else do we need to do in start? High score. No, we don't need to do that. We'll do high score later. We're not doing high score yet. Okay, we'll go into our update and we'll get the lives text.text, text.text, great, equals current lives dot to string. Remember, we need to cast the integer to a string before we can set it to be equal to a text. And then we've got score text equals current score dot to string. High score we're going to leave. We're going to implement the high score in a following video, not in this video. We've updated. We need some public methods. Public void increase score. So current score plus equals value. Plus equals value is the same as saying current score equals current score plus value. Just kind of like shorthand in C#. Increase score, public void decrease lives int value. Do we need an int value on our decreased lives? Really? Why would you ever want to lose 2 lives? No, we're not going to do that. So current lives minus minus. If current lives is less than or equal to 0, then game over. Just click on the light bulb, generate a method for game over, and we'll leave it as not implemented at the moment. So we can increase the score, great. We can decrease lives, and if the lives drop below 0, then that's game over. So let's save that up. Control S to save. Control S to save. Jump back over into Unity. Great. Open up our game session. We've got lives text, score text, high score text. All of them have got none in. We want to find our canvas. Lives value. Score value. High score value. So now we've got our game session all linked up. Brilliant. Let's apply all that to the prefab as well. So the prefab's automatically linked up to all of those HUD elements, UI elements. Let's play the game. We've got our lives, but we're not losing lives, and we're not getting any score. So there's nothing in the game that says this is when we decrease a life. This is when we get score. So let's deal with the score first of all. So we're going to go into the health script, and remember this is on a block. It's called a health script, and it should just deal with health, but it's not a nice way of doing it. We should really have a separate class to do the scoring and maybe link it up with an event, but I don't want to go into events in this tutorial series. So we'll just do it nice and simply in the health. And when a block is destroyed, we are going to find object of type. Make sure it's object, game session. Dot increase score. I just put 1 in there for now, just so I don't get any squiggly lines. And we need a serialized field. Int score value equals 10. So what's happening there? When the ball hits an object, it's decreasing the health. When the health of an object or a block is 0 or below 0, then we increase the score in the game session, and then we destroy the game object. So we should have scoring working now. Let's save that up. And oh, 1, oh, 2. So our scoring's working now. Brilliant. How fantastic is that? There we go. But we don't get a new ball, and our lives still say 5. So that's the next thing to check off. So we want to open our game session. Now in update, we want to, what do we want? We want a ball. Okay, we don't want a ball. We're going to use a var, and we're going to call it balls equals game object dot find objects with the S with tag ball. So we're going to support multiple balls from the get-go in our game session. Originally I only supported 1 ball, but I think multiple balls is maybe something that you can add as a challenge later on. That would be pretty cool. So if balls is less than or equal to 0, balls.length is less than or equal to 0, decrease lives. Now we want to get the player object. So game object dot find object with tag, and it's got the tag player, I believe. Dot get component player controller. Sorry. Game object, find game object with tag player, get component player controller dot reset ball. So if we go over to our player controller, let's save that up first, then go over to our player controller and reset ball. It's creating a new ball. We've got the ball.transform.parent, and we're changing the position with the ball offset. So all of that's controlled by the player controller. Game session. we're decreasing lives, then we're resetting the ball. However, if the lives go below 0, we need to enter the game over phase. Okay, so we're actually covering ourselves in the decreased lives. We're calling the game over here. Not implemented yet. That's fine. That's what we want. So save that up. Go back into Unity. Press play. We've got our scoring, and we lose lives, and the ball resets. I meant to miss that then. That's typical. Just have to watch this ball bounce around the screen a bit longer. So we haven't got a new ball this time. We've gone over to game over, and it's got an error in the bottom there saying not implemented exception. The method or operation is not implemented. So there, our game's crashed. So we've got our first crash, as well as our lives and our score working. Okay, I think that's it for this video. Well done if you followed along in the tutorials up to this point. We're getting close to the end now. Today we've looked at the singleton pattern. We've added the player lives and the score. We've wired them up to the game session, which is don't destroy on load, so it's persistent across scenes, which will allow us to add multiple scenes in the future. Next time we're going to look at winning the game. We're going to look at supporting multiple scenes, and we're going to look at a game over behavior rather than our not implemented exception that we've got this time. Cool. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.